Alright, here's another run from the Salmon of Knowledge recording sessions, which I ended up not finding a salmon at all in this particular game, but I think it's worth showing anyway. And most of the games I was deliberately trying to force finding a seahorse at the beginning, because most of the time it was either seahorse by itself, or sometimes I was running seahorse and iguana and scaling them both right the way to the end. So we find the seahorse here, we get a couple of kiwis going to try and improve the stats, which is just as well because otherwise we wouldn't have been able to one-shot those two bunyips at the front. Actually, that's a job there. And then I think here, do I take the double dromedary or do I just take the iguana? Okay, we are going to take double drom, freeze the... Okay, we're not freezing the iguana. We're just going to hope that the dromedaries buff something useful in the shop next turn. Should be fine here. Iguana, now that it does 2 damage base, even though it is tier 2, you're much more likely to be able to snipe a couple of units, especially if you have the double seahorse. You just are slightly worried about Axe Handle Hound. So I think here I'm going to keep the iguana frozen. I was very lucky getting another one in the shop there. And am I going to take the capybara? I guess I could combine seahorses, but I think I probably just want to have the double snipe. I guess we'll find out. Maybe I'm just going to scale the capybara with the dromedaries. It took a very long time thinking about it. Maybe it's because at this point I'd had so many failures trying to get the salmon team working that I really was concentrating a bit more and didn't want to make any more mistakes. I mean, in all honesty, sitting and thinking about it for a long time doesn't guarantee that I'm not going to make a mistake, but we do what we can. So I think dromedaries can probably go now. 7/7 seems fair enough, and we are on 5 hearts, so we don't want to risk things going downhill just to get an extra 2/2 stats onto the iguana, especially since in many of the games the seahorse was the only thing that stuck around and the iguana ended up getting sold. Because if you're not facing summon teams, in fact, honestly, even if you are facing summon teams, the iguana can kind of fall off a lot harder than the seahorse does, because often the units at the back that are getting moved by the seahorse will have protective equipment on them anyway, and the snipes won't be good enough unless you also have, Wolverine or maybe Pineapple as well. I don't think I had either of those in this pack since they weren't really in my Salmon of Knowledge plans, and there I make a classic mistake. That happens to me all the time when I have a capybara on the team. The visual effect from the cappy I find makes it difficult to spot the duplicates in the shop, especially if you're trying to play a bit quicker. And there I ended up missing out on the seahorse. So we'll take the level on turn 7 here. And I'm thinking probably, even if I do get Salmon of Knowledge here, it's not really going to help me with the team I have, because we don't really have any start battle abilities besides the seahorse itself. So I'll take the rock here, which I feel like has been pretty strong recently. I've been taking it in packs where I have no mana pets at all, but just having those extra snipes on the front units can be pretty devastating at times. And this is very nice seeing this Jersey Devil team get demolished by the double iguana. So I think combine iguanas. Yeah, we'll take the level. I should really combine them together first. And then, yeah, there we go. Otherwise, you end up missing out on some stats, I think. And yeah, we don't really get anything that we want. We could take turtle here, freezing pills for blobfish, but we find another rock, so we'll go for that. And probably I should unfreeze the pills now because next turn we can find chocolate in the shop, but I keep the pills frozen anyway. Another classic mistake. Is this the same team as earlier? The Pegasus is about to get eaten by the whale, which is very amusing. It does at times feel like, I've said many times in the past before that Seahorse is pretty strong for a tier 1, and with the update it will be moved up to tier 2. But it can just be so disruptive and just, really make a mess of opposing teams, especially when they have something like Whale that really depends on the ordering. So here, am I going to get rid of the rock? I don't know if it's necessarily the correct play, but the double alpaca is hard to pass up, and we can take the fly. So we'll go for an instant level 2 fly on turn 9, and then we actually get another fly on the level up. So I think, yeah, bring in the second fly. Maybe freeze crane here. I guess my stats aren't all that great, so freezing the crane might have not been the best play. But we can also just take a separate seahorse. And probably, I guess you could argue that this is a mistake or not a mistake, depending on your point of view. But playing the level 2 fly in the middle means that you would only get 2 level 2 flies if something didn't get sniped. Now, in this particular battle, it works out where I get all 3. But again, you could, if you play the 7 health fly at the back or closer to the back, you are more in danger of it being sniped completely. So, you can let me know in the comments if you think that constitutes a mistake or not. But we find another rock, and I'm feeling a little bit of regret that I got rid of it earlier. So we'll take Stingray for the sock, since we are poised for the perfect game, and then bring in the rock and hopefully give everything an extra snipe, and freeze Fig and Chocolate because a little bit of extra tempo could do wonders. Now, Garlic and Lemon, this looks like we should lose this because they have lots of ways to absorb the small amounts of damage that we're going to deal out. But the Garlic just isn't going to stand up to the sheer number of flies, and I think the Lemon might have been messed up by the snipes there as well from the mana. So perfect game on turn 10. Very happy to get that, even though I couldn't find a single Salmon of Knowledge.